Hey guys, welcome to Super Mario Brothers. I'm Brendon.
I'm Connor.
And we have to apologize to all our lovely listeners because I lied twice last week.
Yeah, you're really off.
So let me get the first lie off. I made a very bold claim that I think the Captain America trilogy's top 3 movie film history.
Oh, you ready to eat those words, sir?
I'm still going to say top 10.
Okay.
I might even go top 5.
Ooh.
I think top 5 is the highest rating.
This isn't a trilogy yet.
Captain America?
Are we talking about...
Well, that's my first lie. I said it was top 3. I'm going to eat my words on that. Okay. I thought about it a little more. Top 10, possibly top 5. Okay. Second off, this should have been our Captain America the Winter Soldier podcast.
Man, scheduling's hard, guys.
We had some issues with scheduling, but we got some good content for you. We literally, less than 10 minutes ago, came back from the theaters.
Yeah. Seeing
Black Panther.
Yeah, it's, oh man.
So let's talk about this. Connor, have you seen this in theaters?
Yes. Have you?
Yeah, I actually just saw it. It was really cool.
Weird. Yeah.
Support your local cinema. So we're talking about 2018 Black Panther, directed by Ryan Coogler.
Mm-hmm.
If you are
it's kind of funny because the name's close to Cougar, but it's a movie about a panther.
You're so dumb. I don't know how I deal with you. On a real talk, though, if you are a film fan, go see his other 2 movies. He's did Fruitvale Station. He's done Creed. Both of them are fantastic movies. Highly recommend them. He's a very good director.
Hey, I haven't seen either of those, but hey, man, after this, I'll believe it.
Hey, Creed's on every streaming service. At least go see Creed. So you ready to just jump into this?
Yeah.
All right. So we actually start...
As promised. I'm going to do... No, but God, I'm sorry, the accent they use... I'm just going to cut before you get in. The accent they use through the whole movie is so contagious.
It is. There's a lot of good acting in this movie.
It's so sexy.
Wow, that's a hot take.
Yeah, it is. He had his shirt off a lot of the movie. It was a hot take.
Okay, let's get into this. We cut to Oakland in the early 1990s.
Which is weird for a movie supposed to be set in Africa, but...
Is it, though?
Ooh, we're touching on things.
That's what the Black Panther movement started in Oakland, so it kind of makes sense.
I guess that's fair.
So we get 2 people. It looks like they're going to be doing a heist of some sort.
Or a deal.
Something's going on. They're planning it.
Something not legal.
And there's a knock on the door. A guy goes through. He says, it looks like there's 2 ladies in spears. And the one guy just says, open the door. They're not going to knock twice. Which I think already sets the tone, like how serious this is. You have the 2 bodyguards walk in, and then you have the Black Panther, which is actually the current Black Panther, T'Challa's father.
Yeah, no. We have T'Challa. That was T'Chaka.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Where we find out that this person that's talking to is his brother.
Yes.
And that he had actually helped Claw.
I'm going to risk it here. Prince Genobu?
Najobu?
I mixed the N and the J up.
Okay, guys. Like I said, we just saw this. I have IMDb up. We're probably going to be referring to that.
Absolutely.
So, Prince Najobu, and he had actually helped Claw, who we had met actually in Avengers 2.
Yes.
Had helped him steal the vibranium from Wakanda.
That pretty much made Ultron. Well, the Vision, but...
Yes, and that leads to all their own little issues there. He's going to be arrested... And we kind of then cut away at that point to a ship flying away to a boy looking up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our stinger, which again, Marvel's getting really good at these first 5-10 minutes of a movie being they're connected to the movie, but also not part of the main plot, giving you that backstory. Mm-hmm. And then we get into the new intro, which I think is amazing, where they introduce Marvel Studios now.
Oh, where it's clips from the movies and stuff?
Clips from the movies all meshed with comic. It's really cool.
Nice.
So much better than the old stuff.
I don't know. Simplicity's nice too.
I want complexity. I want more things.
I want a whole season of Game of Thrones stuck into 2 hours.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I want.
Because I could keep track of that. Any human being could keep track of that.
We cut to present day, and we actually find out this movie takes place during Civil War. I guess is the best place to say it.
I would say after.
The only reason I say it's after Civil... Well, I guess that's a stinger, not...
Well, because the events of Civil War have passed.
The reason I say it, at the end of Civil War, we see Captain America in Wakanda. He's not in this movie. Spoiler... Obviously, there's going to be huge spoilers in here. If you haven't seen Black Panther, do not listen to this episode yet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because they already have Bucky.
Well, he's in the Stinger, so and the thing with Stingers in the MCU, you never really know how close they are.
But what I'm saying is, at a point, Suri says, "Oh, another white boy for us to fix." So I took that as Bucky's in Wakanda.
Okay, then that's going to lead to some issues later in the movie that I want to talk about.
Okay.
But, so it takes place roughly either at the very end of Civil War or after Civil War. We're going to say the tail end of Civil War.
Yes.
Where we're getting into T'Challa is going to be... not knighted.
King?
Yeah, not knighted. Kinged? Yeah, it's not kinged either. I forget the word. Oh my gosh. I should know this. Crown. We'll just say crowned. That's not the word I wanted. Okay. But he's going to be crowned king, and they're going to go through the ceremony. We meet his mom. We see some of the... Actually, we missed the mission at the beginning, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. They have a really sweet mission to where they're like... It's a stealth mission, and like the general of Wakanda's with him, and they have to stop... Essentially, they're stopping this like convoy of people who are stealing women and children from... places around.
If you saw the trailer, this is kind of scene in the trailer with that. He says, "I never freeze."
I never freeze.
Oh man, do you think that meme is really gonna hurt that movie? Isn't it?
No.
Or is that meme dead already?
I'm keeping them separate. The meme died within like a week for me.
And also, please bear with us. I know we usually do skip spots. It's gonna be hard for us today. We
don't have notes.
We usually do actually keep notes during the movie. Wasn't taking a notepad into a movie theater, which, by the way. 3 weeks after this movie's come out, the theater was sold out.
Yeah,
we could not sit together. So, to see this movie, just so you know how well this movie's doing.
Yeah, you and your lovely wife got to sit next to each other, then I had to sit behind you watching.
So, let me tell you, there were 4 seats. Okay, we're not going to do Marvel talk now. There were 4 seats left in that theater. There was the 2 I got for me and my lovely wife. There was the one right over our shoulder. And then there was the one across from us that was just on the island by itself.
See, now you know me, and you know I would like seclusion.
I was so torn, I didn't know what to do.
That's fine.
So, but anyway, it was a great time. So we have this scene. It's not much except you see some cool Black Panther scenes. You get to see what him in action.
Skydives and stuff, and like does this cool like Batman moment where he's like one place and then suddenly shows up from a completely different direction.
Black Panther. I didn't know a ton about him before Civil War. I knew absolutely. Let me say, I knew absolutely almost nothing about him about Civil War.
Very, very, very little.
The only time I had ever seen Black Panther in the comics is one time I pirated Marvel Zombies, and he's in there. But that was basically it. So seeing him in Civil War is really cool, and now we're getting more of that backstory. And my assumption, I kind of said this coming out of the theater, he's kind of like Tony Stark, Spider-Man, and Captain America put together into one person.
Sort of, yeah.
That's kind of the best way to describe him. So, anyway, let's go to the coronation. That's the word I wanted. That's the word I wanted.
Coronation. So, a traditional Wakandan coronation, which we learn, this comes into it. Wakanda was 5 tribes essentially fighting over the land.
Well, it was 6 tribes originally. 5 of the tribes unite, and the 6th one decides not to and lives in the mountain.
No.
Or was it 4 and 5?
It was 4 and 5.
Okay, sorry.
So it was 5 tribes fighting over the land because vibranium crashed into it on a meteor and made everything good, I guess. By the way, that's the excuse for this movie. We have Odin magic, we have pin particles, vibranium.
Really, it does.
Yeah.
Because apparently it impacts like vegetation and wildlife,
yeah, because why not?
Yeah.
So, 4 tribes were fighting over the land, or 5 tribes were fighting over the land. 4 tribes united under this hero who ate a magical herb that gave him superpowers.
The heart-shaped herb?
The heart-shaped herb, and gave him superpowers, made him the first Black Panther. They united under him, and then one tribe was like, no, went off into the mountains. They come back. It's cool.
They're cool. I like them.
Yeah, they're really cool. So we go to the coronation. Part of the coronation is T'Challa has to go through a ritual combat to see if anyone from the tribes wants to combat him for the throne.
Yeah,
which is a really cool thing because you would think, oh well, we'll just brush over that. We don't need to, but no, it's no, we have to do this. It's tradition. So they go through all the tribes. And it's like, no, we will not combat. We will not combat. We will not combat. We will not combat. And then you hear some hooping and hollering coming from behind the waterfall they're at.
Yeah, you hear some chanting coming through, and then we get this lost tribe who says it's challenge day and it's time for us to take our rightful claim.
Which they have a sweet gorilla mask.
Yeah, so Black Panther. You see a lot of panthers all around there. They've taken this gorilla outfit, which is really cool. I do love the fact that to challenge, he has to lose the Black Panther powers.
Yeah.
So he has to drink this mixture that takes away his Black Panther powers, because if you can't win one-on-one without it, then you don't deserve it.
Yeah. Essentially, the moral of Spider-Man Homecoming wrapped up in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we get this really cool fight scene. Very well choreographed.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty brutal, too.
It's stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, the beauty of this podcast, we're usually rewatching movies. This was our first time seeing it. I was, clenched. I was like, oh, is he going to lose? Is this where the action's going to start? And then he's in this brutal fight with the dude. It's very back and forth.
It looks like he's about to lose, and his mom says, remember who you are.
Yeah.
Which is like him going Super Saiyan
he smashes that mask.
He destroys a stone helmet.
Oh my gosh. It's ridiculous. So he does that. He has the dude headlocked over a waterfall.
Yeah, and he basically says, you fought honorably. Surrender now. Your people need you.
Yeah.
To which he finally accepts it, concedes, goes away, and now he is going to be christened as the Black Panther.
Right.
Before we go into back there, we kind of cut to London. We either have cut to London or we're cutting to London here on the podcast. We see Michael B. Jordan's character, Killmonger, for the first time.
Which, when I first saw him, thought I was not going to like him.
Oh, I love Michael B. Jordan.
No, I like Michael B. Jordan. I didn't think I would like the character.
Okay.
Just because I thought it was going to be this, really arrogant, undeserved, but kind of wins because he's the bad guy deal. But
as I was watching this movie, I kept thinking, what you look for in a villain. And I was like, oh, man, Connor's loving this.
He's probably one of my favorite Marvel villains.
He's pretty good. He's very well done.
Very well written and very well acted villain.
So he's in this museum in London looking at African artifacts.
Yes.
He has this expert come in trying to point things out. Eventually they get to some sort of axe or hammer.
It's like a hammer pick thing.
Yeah, and she says, oh, that's from Ghana, or I think it's, no, Benin maybe?
Yeah, I think it was Benin.
And he's like, nah, that's from Wakanda. And she's like, excuse me. And then this elaborate plot breaks out.
It's really crazy. He pretty much tells her, yeah, I'm stealing this. He poisoned her drink. She, keels over. And then he is like, oh, something's wrong. Get a doctor. Get a doctor.
Yeah, while he's doing that, the doctor is Ulysses Claw.
Andy Serkis. Yeah, Ulysses Claw.
Andy Serkis. By the way, I love the fact Andy Serkis is not being motion captured.
Andy Serkis looks like he should be motion captured without motion capture. That dude looks crazy.
He reminds me he's the Joker of the MCU.
He absolutely is.
It's amazing. And they do this elaborate scene. I love the one scene he tells the guy, just don't tell us, you can run away. Runs by 10 feet, shoots him. He's
that was brutal.
And it says, makes it looks more amateur.
Yeah.
So they get the vibranium, and then Killmonger takes this mask. I love Claw's Claw's like, is that vibranium too? He's like, nah, man, I'm just feeling it.
Yeah.
And they get out there. So now they have vibranium. Remember, Claw had all his vibranium taken in Avengers 2, so he doesn't have any.
Right.
So
he has a weird techno arm. He
does have a weird techno arm, so he's got connections somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut back to Wakanda, or we're cutting back to Wakanda.
Yep.
They go through the coronation process, I guess the finishing it up, where he takes the herb again to get the Black Panther. And then I love this ceremony where he's actually buried. It's
a really cool one. Because the whole thing is you got to go to the ancestral plane, talk to your predecessors. Which was done very... well, first of all, the effects of this scene alone were beautiful. The imagery of just the savannah with the trees and then
you can tell you get a real surreal feeling while doing it, but
it's
also...
It's like if the Lion King remake isn't like that, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah. Disney,
but
listen up.
They do really cool imagery because he goes up to this tree, and there's a bunch of panthers in it. And at first I'm like, oh, it's because he's Black Panther. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, those are the other Black Panthers.
Oh, now I get it.
Yeah, it was one of those moments. feel like I wanted to say something and I lost it.
One thing, I know I'm jumping ahead here.
Yeah.
I love the fact that when people go to the ancestral plane, they're connected to what they experienced.
I was thinking the same thing.
Because when Killmonger goes, the scenery is totally different, but it makes 100% sense. And I love that that's a touch there. It's not going to be the same experience for every person.
Right.
When he goes there, he meets his father.
Yes. And T'Challa meets T'Chaka again. And it's a big part of that movie is, at least the beginning of it, is him kind of dealing with the fact that he has to move on without his dad. Which was a big part of Civil War, too. Was that his father was taken from him. It's
almost, the more I think about it, it's kind of like a reverse Thor in the first one.
It is.
Thor was like, I want to be king and I know what to do and this. And T'Challa is just like...
You're slowly fusing the names. It's T'Challa.
I know. It's going to be hard. Okay. But he kind of comes to the realization, like, I don't think I'm ready to be king.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be a good king like you. And his father basically says, like, I've been training you. I've been preparing you. I've been preparing my whole life for you to be king.
Yeah.
There's no way I would have failed you like this.
Yeah.
And he kind of comes out of the dust or the dirt they buried him in. And that's kind of the end of the process there.
Right. It's done very well. The whole thing feels really, like, mystical. I liked it a lot.
The whole vibe of this movie is really good.
It's really good.
It's almost like you're getting, like, this mystical magic feel with the tech feel.
Yeah, they fuse the two. Like, there's definitely, like... Because in the intro, they kind of explain the science, like, oh, vibranium came down and enriched the earth, whatever. But it does, like, the fact that, you know, you drink the juice from this herb and you get superpowers. It's, like, kind of this, like, magical thing, which... I remember what I was going to say. The ceremony of fighting someone for the throne and the magic herb were the two things I knew about Black Panther going in.
Oh, okay.
I knew Black Panther was the king and, like, the hero of Wakanda, and I knew you had to fight for it, and you got superpowers from eating a fruit or something. That was the two things I knew going in, and I was like, cool. They did those two things I knew. I'm happy.
All right, then we're good. I'm sure people... I have to hope that people that actually follow Black Panther, like the comics, love this movie. Because, I mean, as someone who didn't know it, I loved, like, learning the mythology. Even the little bits. I feel like there's so much more we didn't learn. But I really hope it, like, helped the fans of the comics.
I will say, we skipped over it with the, like, giant panther statue thing. Really upset, like, the potential, and I hope there's a what-if scenario in Marvel, where the 4 tribes never joined, and now you have, like, 5 tribes with cool animal spirit-themed superheroes.
Yeah! That'd be cool.
Like, it's like kind of super tech African Power Rangers, sort of.
Yeah, you get like Green Gorilla or something like that.
Oh,
because the one tribe that's exiled, they're
like, the gorillas, and they have a sweet gorilla statue
holding up their throne room. It's amazing. It's so cool.
Like, I could have a whole movie take place there, and I'd be totally happy.
100%, absolutely. We kind of go to the lab and kind of see what's...
Probably my favorite character is...
Suri?
Suri.
Is that what it is? Suri?
Yeah, T'Challa's sister.
I keep wanting to call her Siri just because she basically is the tech whiz, and I feel like it's just like, hey, Siri, do this.
The first thing we meet her is when T'Challa comes back from his mission or whatever, and she walks off
I forgot about that.
and just flips him off.
Oh, yeah, because she's definitely 21st century compared to the traditional thing. In fact, during this coronation ceremony, she says, like, can we wrap this up? This is not comfortable
This is not comfortable.
So we go to the lab, though, which is in the vibranium mine, which they said they've been mining for thousands of years, and they're just, like, cracking...
It's a whole mountain of ore.
It's a whole mountain of vibranium.
That goes probably underground, too, because it was a meteor.
So. Oh, absolutely. Like, there's a lot
This is an iceberg situation.
Yeah. So, and we kind of see all the technology they have, and it's... I mean, it is a Tony Stark wet dream in there.
Yeah, I have to imagine, like, there had to be a point when T'Challa's like, alright, like, Tony had to be bugging him the whole time. Like, come on, let me go. Let me see it.
I don't think they had that much interaction in Civil War.
They didn't, but I want a scenario where Tony Stark says to Black Panther, like, are you finally going to let me come?
Well, we do know that Iron Man is in Wakanda in the Infinity War trailer.
Right.
So,
could you imagine the conversation between Suri and Tony Stark?
And then Rocket?
Oh, man, this is going to be... An amazing movie.
Oh, I forgot to say, we're preparing you for the greatest cinematic event in the history of the human race, Marvel Infinity War.
This is the sloppiest episode we've ever
Guys, I'm so sorry. Like I said, we don't have the notes. We don't have the notes. You don't have the notes. Okay, this is awful. It's also very late.
Yeah, so we meet Suri in the lab, bunch of cool tech, like weird sand projections. That's rad.
Yeah, I love how they did that. They
could have gotten lazy and done holograms, but they were like, what if they had magical sand holograms?
Also, it kind of remind me, like, don't take this as an insult. You're gonna think this is bad. Mm-hmm. The Sandman from Spider-Man 3, but better. Like how they could just like call it up. It kind of reminded me of those effects. So we're kind of getting some of the tech. We get the new Black Panther suit, the new hotness,
which I really like the old one because it did have a very Power Rangers feel. With like it's very simple, like a helmet and a suit, and that's it. But
this is basically like the bleeding edge technology.
Yeah,
the idea that he can summon the suit from the necklace, and it's all there.
Which is probably where Tony Stark gets it, right? Or when he does it, T'Challa's going to be like, "Yeah, cool, way to catch up." Like,
probably.
Like Tony Stark's like, "Check out this new thing. Just found it out. Really rad.
New hotness."
And then T'Challa's just going to be in the corner.
But what I really like about the suit is that its special ability is it can absorb kinetic energy and dish it back out. So you see that he kicks it and it goes flying. Then she sets up like, kick it there again.
Yeah.
And he goes flying back because it has all that energy. And that's just so cool. And they use it so well.
And the effect of like, as it charges, the suit gets these cool like purple lines and runes on them. And
so well done. I will say, one thing I will kind of dock the movie on, maybe you're a little different than me. I think some of the effects didn't feel as polished.
I was going to bring that up, and it happens a lot towards the end.
Towards the end. And it's not like... It's just small things. Mm-hmm. But like that effect in the suit is very well done. All the effects with the tech, I think, are well done.
Yeah.
It's almost like little background things that happen.
Like there are parts where the ship looks a little... Like specifically, there's a part where the ship there is flying over like scenery, and the shadow just looks really fake for me. And I was like, So, we're introduced to the new suit, and almost immediately, Killmonger shows up, they go after, a meeting is called...
Of the tribes.
Of the tribes, and they're like, okay, what's going on? Like, Claw was found, like, and
he has vibranium.
Yeah.
That's what they're very much concerned about.
Yeah, so... T'Challa's like, I'm going to go and bring him back here, and he's going to go on trial. And you have essentially the border defense tribe, who's like...
Well, the warrior class,
the warrior tribe, who's like, okay, either kill him or bring him back. Like, no in between.
And and he says, like, you have my word, I'm going to do that. So, and we kind of meet him a little bit, and we find out that he's actually, I don't know if they're married, but at least dating the head of the Royal Guard. Yeah, the general.
Who was a great character, by the way.
Very well done. I think all the character development was very good in this movie. So we find out that it's actually going to... Claw is trying to make the trade in South Korea.
Yeah.
Busan? Is that...
I could not tell you.
It's not the capital, so it's not Seoul. So they're going to take the mission there. It's just 3 of them going there. So they didn't want to take a huge guard. They wanted to just take a few of them. They go to this shady underground gambling ring.
As you do.
Where we have the great Kendrick Lamar music playing. The music in this movie is really well done,
really
too.
Good music.
I think this might be my favorite. Well, no. Guardians is really good. I keep wanting to say it's my favorite, then I remember like how many movies are actually in the MCU. It's very good music, though.
So they're kind of using their tech to scout out the gambling ring.
Can we talk about the fact they solved this huge problem in Avengers where they have these earpieces go behind their ears and have infinite range?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, just Wakandan stuff. Vibranium. So they're kind of investigating. They're noting like who's the Americans that they're going to possibly make the trade with, and they notice Agent Ross. Ross, yeah.
Yeah, Ross, which is kind of confusing because you already have Thunderbolt Ross in this. So I wonder if that's a comic book thing. I'd have to look that up, but
I won't lie. Without having the rewatch, I don't even remember Ross from another movie.
He's the general from the Hulk.
No, Agent Ross.
I don't think he is in another movie.
Oh, okay.
That's why I think it's weird that they went with the last name Ross, unless it's a comic book connection.
I mean, it's weird because they make it sound like they know him.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think he's in any other movie that I can think of. No, it just says Black Panther here. So,
weird.
Anyway, so it seems like the U.S. government's going to be trying to deal with this vibranium, and they're still under the assumption that Wakanda is this third world developing country that does not have any real resources,
right?
Except for apparently he does know the Black Panther,
right? So they just have a superhero.
So they have this meeting, and then we get to the lead cameo.
Oh my gosh, probably one of the best lead cameos.
Can we just talk about, we had a lot of crap lead cameos in Phase 1 and the first half of Phase 2. This one's solid, though. So literally,
T'Challa puts money down on the table.
Yeah, he puts it on the craps table, says his thing to Ross, then walks away, and Ross is like, hey, you won.
And Stan Lee comes over. She's like, I'm just going to take these, move them over here, and keep them safe. And that's it. So good.
It is kind of up there with, it's not really relevant to the story, which is something I do look at Stan Lee's, but it's kind of like the Thor one, where it's just so well done. It's just great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we start seeing Claw come in. He's bringing heavy heat. Mm-hmm. The metal detector's going off. There's a lot of guards.
They've got 7 guys with them.
They basically realize it's a setup.
Yeah.
And he's trying not to do this because he doesn't want to start a firefight in public like this. Because he realizes he's outgunned. I mean, they might win, but they're not going to keep it secret.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but eventually they got overheard. Their cover's blown. Starts going crazy. Gunshots. He pulls out the Black Panther suit.
Yep. Which
is really cool. But Claw
has a cool gun hand, I guess.
It's not even a gun hand. It's a cannon hand.
Yeah.
So he has a vibranium cannon that he can shoot. So he uses that to knock the Black Panther down. He goes in. We start this chase scene through South Korea. Very well done. And also, we get the
super cool tech thing that they do is they throw this little pod onto a car, and then from Wakanda, Shuri can remote control
in real time
using the magic sand.
Okay, so let's just make this clear. Wakanda's around we're seeing on the map Tanzania.
Yeah.
And she's able to remote control a car in real time in Korea.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool. She's driving, she can see everything because holograms, why not?
Also, the cars are vibranium, so they keep shooting them. And even the glass, they're just bouncing off.
Yeah. They're literally just looking at them really? It's really good.
And Claw's even they're vibranium, don't even waste your time.
Yeah.
So it's just a really well done scene. Cool action scenes there. Claw finally does say, the only way to get rid of him is to shoot the cannon at him.
Yeah.
So he does, and we get that cool, wall running scene we get from the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, Black Panther does capture Claw.
Yeah.
And detain him.
What I think, this is kind of the first time he's taking the new suit out.
Yes.
And I think it's really cool that there's a point where he is just lit up purple. And Shuri's like, hey, you've been taking a lot of hits. You should use your kinetic energy stuff. Because it's his first time with the suit. He's like, oh yeah, I have that. So he just pretty much plows him with it.
Yeah, he literally just releases it in front of a car and it flips over him.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. So he is arrested. They start detaining him. The Ross is there and he says he's going to start the questioning. And eventually he's going to come back to the United States.
Right.
Even though T'Challa has basically said no, he's coming with me.
Yeah.
So
and he's not no, we have to have this talk. He's like, yeah, no, at the end of the day, he's coming with me.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny. And the general, I'm blanking on her name.
We're just calling her the general.
The general, okay. Like I said, Nakia? Is that it? Nakia?
No, that was his love interest.
Oh, okay. So anyway, the general makes this whole big deal you touch my king again, I'm going to impale you on a desk in Wakandan. And she's like, does she speak English? She's like, when she wants to.
She's a really good character.
So now we have Claw, and Claw is going insane in this room. That's why I call him the Joker of the MCU.
He's the closest thing we've had.
Closest thing so far. And he basically says Wakanda's loaded, and they have all this tech and stuff, and they could do all this, and I'm like trying to do like not damage the world and do this.
Yeah.
And he kind of like convinces Ross, which is what I think they were afraid was going to happen if he went in by himself.
Right.
So he even comes out as like, do you have like an unlimited supply of vibranium? And he basically just says like, are you really going to trust a man like chained to a chair?
Yeah.
Which is like a way of saying like, I'm not answering a question. Let's just think this through here.
Yeah.
But while they're doing that, Killmonger actually starts the breakout of the jail.
Which sets up a big kind of thing for the next part of the movie is that as he's getting away, they best the Black Panther. He can't get him. He's pretty much blown away by stuff.
I think it was a noob tube.
Yeah, something like that. And he sees Killmonger has a ring around his neck that is very similar to the one his father had.
It seems like a royalty ring that's worn by the royal family.
I believe they say it somewhere in the movie is passed down from their grandfather. So.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I do remember that. So,
and that leads Black Panther to be like, okay, who is this guy? Why does he have that? To where he pretty much assaults the royal advisor verbally.
I think it's like the royal priest.
Yeah, probably the closest thing to like a shaman or something.
Yeah. So, and they kind of go through the story that roughly 30 years ago, he was with. He was in Oakland where the opening scene happens. And he was actually spying on the brother of the king.
Yeah.
To kind of figure out what he's doing. And after found out you're coming back to Wakanda to be arrested, it's T'Chaka. I'm getting them, guys. I'm trying my best here. T'Chaka has to kill his brother because he pulled a gun on the priest.
Yeah.
And that's where he has the claw wounds in.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Killmonger was actually
his brother's son.
And comes in and just all he sees is his dead dad with the panther claws through the chest.
Right.
So you get this idea that now his father has killed
his brother.
His uncle, essentially.
Yeah.
His father has killed his uncle. And that they had just left his son there as like a lost person that he cannot come back to Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of ties in there. We go back to Killmonger, who's with Claw, and Claw's like, I'll pay you back once I lay low. And Killmonger says, just pay me back, take me to Wakanda.
Yeah.
And we start the scene, and we kind of figure out who Killmonger is, because he shoots his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because he's in his way. And then he kills Claw when he realizes Claw isn't going to take him where he needs to go. Which, I think that's my one problem with the movie.
They just killed Claw?
I like Claw.
Claw was a good villain.
And Marvel is so good at, injuring someone off screen and then, 3 movies later bringing them back.
Yeah.
You just leave Claw bleeding out there, and maybe he just bleeds out there and we never see him again. But you put yourself in a corner by killing him.
Yeah.
Especially Andy Serkis did a really good job in this.
Yeah, he did.
So...
so... Killmonger pretty much just shows up to Wakanda with Claw's dead body. It's like, hey, what up?
Hey, look what I could do that your king couldn't.
Yeah.
I killed Claw.
Yeah, and that's... It was kind of heavy-handed for me, but I kind of get it. So, after T'Challa learns that, essentially his cousin is Killmonger, they learn a little more about Killmonger. Oh, yeah, the Agent Ross got shot in the back, and they took him to Wakanda, which was a big deal.
Oh, yeah, because they didn't like any outsiders. I kind of forgot about that, because I feel like that should have had more payoff than it did.
It should have, yeah.
They build it up like, you can't bring outsiders to Wakanda.
He's going to report it. If Ross had something like, I gotta tell the government about this.
There was no... That was a thread I think they kind of forgot about.
Yeah.
Because there was just so much happening in the second half of this movie.
Right.
But yeah, Killmonger comes into the throne room, and basically he keeps saying, say who I am. Mm-hmm. Ask who I am. Ask who I am. And eventually one of the other tribes asks, who are you? And he reveals that he's of royal blood.
Right.
And that he deserves a chance to challenge for the throne.
Right. Which T'Challa accepts. Which I guess the fact that he said he has to accept means he could have just said no. And nothing would have happened?
Yeah, the movie ends. I guess the only thing is you could say, well, what if he was thing and this guy's too weak to do it? I guess it's
could have goaded him into it. But it's still, I feel like T'Challa... it seemed by him saying...
All the pressure, I think, was on Killmonger, I would think.
Yeah.
Like, he has no basis besides this one ring, which we don't even know. Like, he could have easily...
Right.
We have no background. He's never been to Wakanda. There's no real connection. No one can verify this.
Yeah, T'Challa, I mean, granted, T'Challa is pretty much seated throughout the whole movie. He's, like, just a really good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he could have just been like, no. Like, you don't deserve it. No.
But I guess the idea is, like, if I beat him, then he has no claim at all, and then we kind of go back to that. So we have the royal ceremony again, and then we find out how crazy good Killmonger is at fighting.
Yeah.
He actually... it's... I guess it's a fight at the beginning, but towards the end, it's not even close.
Yeah, once he gets one hit in, it's pretty much over. And he has no superpowers or nothing. He's just, like, really trained.
And they talked about how he's, like, fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, and
he was part of, like, a pretty much secret squad and stuff like that would destabilize countries.
And he has marks over his body for every kill he has, and when he takes his shirt off, which, of course, you're going to take Michael B. Jordan's shirt off.
Take advantage of the assets.
And it's just marks all over his body. He's got thousands of kills.
Yeah.
Eventually, he keeps talking like, is this your king? Is this person that's going to protect you in the future? And
which he kills the priest.
He does kill the priest, because the priest is trying to save T'Challa's life. Yeah, I'm trying, okay? I'm trying, guys. Tries to save his life, and he says, take my life, I'm the reason your dad dies. Like, I'm just going to take both of you, I don't care. He kills the priest and then throws him over the waterfall, and by that he becomes the new king of Wakanda.
Yeah. Which, interesting thing they do is they never cut back to T'Challa.
That's true.
Which I feel like most other movies in the past would have done, and it totally gets for this tension of like, wow, he's dead. But there was, I was kind of convinced. I was like, he can't be dead, but they're kind of making it seem like he's dead.
And see, they even, like, we'll go later in the movie, but they made it seem like, no, the Black Panther's not necessarily an actor, it's a title.
Yeah.
Because they kind of hint at that.
Yeah.
Which I think was really interesting, because I did not see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut to Killmonger now as the king, and his plan is that there's 2 billion people in the world that are being oppressed. Mm-hmm. And they've never had the weapons that Wakanda does. And we're going to arm those people, and we're going to take the world back over.
Yeah.
So his plan is to take Wakandan weapons, send them all around the world, start these revolutions, and make Wakanda basically the sole ruler of the world.
Right.
Which, when you think about his motivation... Oh, we skipped over the fact where he goes into the ancestral plane.
He goes into the ancestral plane, and where T'Challa went into the ancestral plane and was in the savannah and met the previous Black Panthers, Killmonger goes in and is in his father's apartment in Oakland.
Yeah, so you can see still the Aurora Borealis kind of feel outside, but it's still the apartment. He meets his dad, and he says, like, we're lost from Wakanda. And basically, Killmonger comes to things like, well, maybe Wakanda's lost to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And, again, the motivation makes sense. This is a guy who literally had his father die when he was, 7, 8?
Maybe 10?
Yeah, I didn't see any mother in there, so he's probably not homeless, but he has no parents. He's an orphan, thank you. And he keeps saying, the world's taken everything from me. You've had all this tech that could have helped, and you didn't do anything about it. Which is kind of... there's vibes of this throughout the MCU, but it's kind of powerful the way they portray it in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it is a real-world issue, because even his father talks about the fact, like, you've got these people they bring drugs into the community, and they're over-policed, and there's all this oppression, and you keep not doing anything about it. Like, this is a recurring theme, which I think is very relevant in the political landscape we live in today.
Absolutely.
Which is, it's always nice to see. I don't like politics being, like, hammered in, like, here it is, but the way they subtly tie it in, I think it's very well done.
Because it's not political, it's emotional. Mm-hmm. It's not like, it's not like T'Challa went to a peace conference with other countries and was like, no, this is an issue I want to stand up for. It was, someone came in and was like, usurped his throne over it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was done really well. Killmonger comes out of the dirt in the ancestral plane and tells them to, like, he's like, okay, what's this stuff? And they're like, oh, it's the heart-shaped herb. It's what gives the Black Panther its powers. He's like, cool, burn it.
Yeah, and that, again, it's saying, like, no, I'm the last one that's going to do this.
Yeah, it's like, no, I am the last Black Panther.
And he says, you're going to burn all this herb down. No one else is going to use it. And luckily, Suri is there to take...
It was the love interest. I forgot her name.
Oh, is it Nakia?
Yeah, I think.
Nakia, okay, I'm sorry. Takes one of the heart-shaped herbs with her.
Yeah.
So, then we kind of get there's a little bit of scene. Again, I think this is where the movie kind of, I won't say slowed down, but it's like...
It hit a different pace.
It did hit a different pace, and it was a little bit jarring, because you have a lot of this build-up.
Yeah.
Now you got this kind of slow, like, covert thing going on.
Yeah, they're trying to get away from Wakanda because Killmonger's probably just going to kill them off. Yeah,
Killmonger, I mean, he's doing a very Machiavellian, if you know your Renaissance leaders. Take all the threats to the throne away.
Yeah.
And, like, let's eliminate them. I want to secure power here.
Right.
Where they need to get out of there. They're trying to secure help. The general says, I can't. I'm loyal to the throne. I can't do anything to help you.
Right.
So eventually they have no choice but to go to the Lost Tribe.
Which is pretty cool. So they go there, and they're like, the mother, who, by the way, we were done an incredible disservice the whole movie by not seeing her sweet dreads.
Yeah, hair game was on point.
Hair game was great. Like, just great dreadlocks. I don't know what it is. They always look good.
Yeah. And this is where the part, they go to the Lost Tribe, and they actually offer the king of the tribe the herb, and I thought, holy crap, maybe the Black Panther, like...
Yeah, it was that moment.
Chadwick Boseman's dead, like, for real, like, and they're just gonna bring this new guy in to be the Black Panther.
Oh, no, it would have been, like,
the
albino gorilla. Like, it would have been so good.
Could you imagine if,
Chadwick Boseman...
No, if Marvel had the guts to do that?
Guts would be great. Everyone would have hated this movie.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because they were like, Chadwick Boseman's in it, yes. Oh, he was so good. And then it's like, cool, we killed him off. This movie would have done a complete 180 of what it did.
I think this movie would have been bad, but I think the development in the MCU would have been great. Especially leading into Infinity War. This is the last movie for Infinity War. Yeah. And you're basically saying, no one's safe. Yeah. We're basically Game of Thrones in this now.
Yeah.
Your favorite character could die at any minute.
So they get essentially captured. And there's this really funny scene where Ross tries to talk, and they pretty much just like woof over him.
And say, if you talk one more time, I'm going to feed you two of my children.
Yeah. And it's real quiet and awkward. He's like, no, we're vegetarian. Which is like, are you? Because you're real jacked, bro. You're eating a lot of peanuts to get that jacked.
So much quinoa.
So they pretty much offer this, and it's like, look, you are our only hope. Like, a monster sitting on Wakanda's throne. And you are the only person we can turn to. To which the guy says, all right, enough's enough, follow me. So they take him to, they found T'Challa's body.
Yeah, the fisherman found him, dragged him in there, and he's sitting in a
bed of snow.
A bed of snow, and they basically say, this is the only thing keeping him alive right now.
Yeah. Like,
if you move him from here, he'll be dead in minutes.
Yeah.
So they give him the heart-shaped herb, they bury him in the snow, he goes back to the ancestral plane.
Which was a really powerful scene because it's his father and all the previous Black Panthers. And, his father's like, it's time for you to join us. And he's like, you were wrong. Like, flat out to his father, which is a man he really, like, respected to the deepest, like, pits of himself. Was like, you were wrong. You made the wrong move. And his father's like, I chose my people over a boy. And he's like, and it was the wrong move.
And I kind of really like that the theme in Phase 3 so far has been, like, mistakes from the past coming back.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I know it's not Phase 3, but you got, like, Iron Man 3, mistake from the past. Mm-hmm. Civil War, mistake from the past. Mm-hmm. Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of a mistake from the past. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I should say.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Homecoming, mistake in the past.
Yep.
All these things are kind of tying in that, people trying to make up for the mistakes that other people have made for them. And in fact, there's this powerful scene like Wakandan King.
Kind of Thor 2. I know we don't want to talk about it much, but kind of Thor 2. Actually,
Thor Ragnarok, mistake from the past.
Yeah, well, no.
That's
not on DVD now. I should really go buy it.
Is it?
I think.
If it's not, we need to go get that soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then, in fact, they make this strong things like, Wakandan King hasn't been here in hundreds of years, and Black Panther basically says, like, I can't speak for other kings. I'm here now, though.
Yeah.
And he's asking for this army for his support, because he knows he cannot win this on his own.
Right. Yeah,
And
I like this whole part of the movie because the whole movie kind of in the beginning was like, how can I replace my father and do what he did? And now it's like, my father, I have to be different than my father.
It's the idea that, we idolize people. Like, we idolize our parents, we idolize our fathers, we idolize our moms, and they're not perfect people.
Right.
And we got to sometimes realize, like, they're doing the best they can with what they got.
Right.
And I think that's a powerful thing. He asks for the army, and the army says, I cannot help you.
Yeah, I can't.
So, we now have Chadwick Boseman going in.
We have 2 Black Panthers.
We have 2 Black Panthers, because he has the heart herb.
He has a suit.
Michael B. Jordan has the heart herb. He's got the suit. He's got the gold suit.
Michael B. Jordan suit. Like, I was like, okay, so it's kind of the same thing, but gold. And then I saw, like, it has, like, teeth marks where the mouth is. Like, it has, like, cool, like, stylized teeth. And I'm like, oh, that suit's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And
like, it's totally a bad guy suit, but it's pretty awesome.
Imagine if they had switched suits.
Very different.
Because he was offered 2 suits, and he said, I need one that I blend in with.
Yeah.
Because the gold suit has the giant gold chains.
It's like giant, like,
as opposed to
teeth.
Yeah, as opposed to the purple one that has more, it's subtle.
It's stylized, it's silver, it's just points, it's very subtle.
So
it could be passed off probably as a traditional African jewelry.
And it could,
either could, but one is a little more
one's
modern.
a little easier to hide, especially for a character like Black Panther.
Yeah.
So we get to this scene, they're sending the weapons out. We find out that the Wakandan spears can stop a tank and not be detected by metal detectors.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. They're going to ship it out to London, New York, and I think they say Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm. So
these shipments are going out, and we kind of get to the climax of the movie where T'Challa comes out and says, the fight's not over, bud. I'm still here.
It's like, I didn't forfeit, and I'm not dead.
So you have not won.
Yeah.
And now we kind of get a mini civil war here in Wakanda.
Yeah.
With the people supporting Killmonger, saying, like, he's right. And the poor people supporting T'Challa, he's right. And we get this fight scene between them. It's great choreographed fun. It's kind of not fun. It's great. Well, it is fun in the movie.
It's a good fight.
It's a good fight. It's choreographed well. It's very chaotic, which I think is great because it would be a chaotic scene there. But yeah, I think the fact that it's just this civil war. Now we have Wakanda fighting each other, which I'm sure has not happened in thousands of years.
Right. You get Shuri and the love interest. Kind of got weaponed up. Shuri got these sweet Panther gauntlets that like shoot sound or whatever, and it's like super cool. Plus her like whole battle outfit just looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The love interest, it starts with an N. I'm not even gonna try. Has these cool like chakram rings where she's like tossing them around and stuff, and that's really cool. And she has some sweet armor. Probably one of the coolest things about this whole Civil War thing going on was the fact that rhinos were called to battle.
Yeah, so some people have cavalry.
Yeah.
Even some people have elephants.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen rhinos come to battle, and they're like well-trained rhinos.
Vibranium armored rhinos.
I cannot think of something more terrifying in this world.
Yeah, and they're just like charging people. But yeah, T'Challa is in the middle of this fight. Killmonger's fighting Shuri and the love interest. Nakia. And they are going at it. And T'Challa's kind of dealing with the chaos, trying to like keep things under control, dealing with the rhinos and stuff. And then he sees Shuri is like about to be stabbed with a spear, and he's like tackled by like a bunch of guys.
But he has that kinetic energy.
Yeah, and he just like explodes them, grabs a spear, throws it at a helicopter essentially. Mm-hmm. Like, destroys that, and then it charges at
I do want to point the ships they have are really cool, because I love it. It's like a dragonfly, but then can bend and dock. Yeah. That's cool. We also have Ross is piloting one of the Wakandan ships.
Yeah.
He gets one of those remote access things. They say, we stylized it American for you.
Yeah. So he can fly around and try to kill destroy the dropships.
Yeah, so that the ships don't leave Wakanda and they stay here. And again, it's kind of a traditional end of a Marvel movie. You've got a big fight scene. We get the two Black Panthers.
Well, one of the twists is that it looks like all is done for our heroes when the warrior tribe kind of surrounds them with these shields, and they're like all over with.
The Jabari tribe, that's what it is. Jabari tribe.
Is that the warrior tribe?
Jabari?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, Jabari is the mountain tribe.
Okay. Yeah, and they're like the general, Suri, and Nika is all surrounded. I'm not going to pretend. All surrounded by the shields, and it's like, surrender, you're done. Like, you have 3 seconds to drop your weapons. And then the Jabari tribe shows up and just, like, picks people up and is like, get out of here.
This is the power of the Jabari tribe. Oh, my God. I love the Jabari tribe. They're great.
So cool.
So well done. And then now we got this fight. And as far as I can tell, do they have vibranium?
Jabari tribe?
Yeah. If they do, they don't have a ton of it.
No. Because they're not, they went with the more traditional ways.
Yeah, and it's really crazy, like, you have them fighting this vibranium
Yeah,
stuff.
because they're jacked.
Yeah, they're crazy strong.
They're just like, I'm throwing people. Like, it's nothing. Strength of the gorilla, man.
And then we actually see that scene where the rhino's about to run over the king of the Jabari tribe.
Yeah.
And it's stopped by the general. Because, again, they're
in a relationship.
And he's like, would you kill me for, like, this king or something like that? And she says, like, for Wakanda, I'll do anything. And that's where the warrior tribe drops their swords and that fighting's done. So now we have the Black Panthers fighting, though, and they actually tackle each other into the vibranium cave, which is so cool because you don't hear anything.
Yeah, no music, no nothing, just them going at it while they're free falling.
You hear some punches, but yeah, it's just like this free fall, and they land on one of the train tracks they have there.
So here's where the movie effect-wise for me took a turn. Because the effects up to this point were overall really good. And then we get to this fight, and it's a lot of CG, and it's very heavily leaned on, and there are points where, like, because the lighting is... They're in a dark cave, and then there's very bright, like, white lights from the tracks.
Yeah, they have special sensors built into the tracks that... They say vibranium can't be carried at that speed, so they actually found a way to deactivate its effects. Mm-hmm. So that's what kind of makes this effects, because when that's happening, their suits aren't working.
Yeah, and when they said your suits won't work, I thought their suits would go away. But they kind of get this, like, destabilized, like, there are gaps in it, and it's, yeah.
Which is a cool effect. But yeah, I think the second half of this movie, I don't know if it was rushed. I don't know if they got a little too ambitious with what they were trying to do. I felt like it
was rushed when he came back, and I was like, is this the final fight? But they drugged the final fight out to where it felt fine.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying rush, like, pace-wise. I'm thinking rush, like, production-wise.
Oh, maybe.
Because I do think the second half of this movie, there's a lot of that CG that kind of seems a little unpolished.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the fight scene is well done. It's choreographed well. You get this fight. Eventually, T'Challa stabs Killmonger. And I love the fact that Killmonger says, that was a sweet move.
Yeah, he's
like,
just like,
admits
that was a good move. Because, like, what happened is he essentially throws Killmonger's knife up into the air over the train. While their suits are
the sensors are working.
Yeah. And then as, like, the train goes by and the sensors are still on, and as they're, like, turning off, he grabs the knife and stabs it into one of the gaps in Killmonger's suit. And then they kind of have this emotional moment of, like...
I just love Killmonger's, like, monologue here is, like, you know, my dad promised one day T'Challa has the best sunsets in the world, and one day I'll see it. It's like, I said Wakanda.
You said T'Challa.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. I wish I could watch this movie again just to get the names down. Because, again, I'm unfamiliar with any of these characters.
Like we said, we literally watched it 10 minutes before we started recording this podcast.
So it's an hour and 10 minutes ago at this point. So he says, like, the sunsets of Wakanda are the most beautiful in the world.
Yeah.
And it's, like, just like a boy from Oakland to be chasing dreams. And T'Challa does the thing where... does an honorable thing where he pulls him up, takes him to the elevator, and sends and, like, kind of has him look at the sunset over Wakanda.
Yeah.
So you kind of see the scene of battlefield. You see these bodies laying around.
And you know, he's like, yeah, he was right. It's beautiful. And T'Challa says, like, we could probably still heal you. And he says a really powerful thing where he's like, no, or what, heal me so I could be locked up for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
He's like, no, just make my grave in the ocean with all my ancestors who jumped ship because they knew death was better than bondage.
And that's a very powerful line, especially from a Marvel movie. You don't expect that. And
from a Disney movie.
That's true, from a Disney movie at that.
Yeah.
He pulls the spear out and he dies, which Again, I'm a little sad we won't see him again because I thought he's a pretty well done villain.
Very good villain that honestly I think could have been turned into kind of like a Loki-esque frenemy, like sort of partner deal.
Yeah, I think that was a big loss that they could have tried to play out or have. But something.
At the same time, would his character work in that? Which the answer is no. He's way too brutal.
Yeah. Again, yeah, he showed that brutality.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I understand why they made a decision, but it is kind of sad when you lose that character. I think very well done.
Yeah.
Like that. We then kind of get this wrap up segment where T'Challa has made the decision that he is going to open up Wakanda a little bit.
Yeah.
To help reach out, help people around the world, try to end all this hardships that are happening. Yeah. They've got I'm going to assume infinite wealth at this point, and
he is the richest Marvel hero.
He is
beating out Tony Stark.
Is he richer than Batman?
Does Batman own a country?
I don't know.
No.
I don't watch DC.
The answer is no.
I don't read DC. I watch DC. I don't read DC. So he starts this human outreach thing, and it just seems we kind of get like a kind of happy ending to this. It wraps up pretty well for us, which I think a lot of the introduction movies in Marvel, they try and end on a happy note.
Well, what was nice about this is it wasn't necessarily an origin story.
And I think Marvel's found a really good system here. Introduce a hero in another movie.
And you don't need to make an origin story.
Well, yeah, and you don't need to make an origin story, but then go into the mythology of that hero.
Yeah.
So, like, we get what Black Panther is a little bit in Civil War, enough to get us interested.
Yeah.
And then you get the not the origin, you said, but the backstory, that mythology in its own movie, which I think is a very good system they've developed.
I mean, they did that with Spider-Man 2, which I know we have not gotten to Spider-Man yet, but these two movies, I think, are very similar because they branched off of the same movie.
Yes.
From different sides.
No, they're both on the same side in Civil War, aren't they?
I don't know.
Spider-Man and Black Panther on the same side in Civil War.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that movie in a while.
Huh. Well, we're gonna watch it soon.
Yeah. But it's really interesting because, you know, Spider-Man was like, everyone kind of knows the origin story of Spider-Man. There's only been like 9 movies at this point. So it's like, okay, we don't need to go into the whole origin story, but, you know, they kind of go and do a little bit. And this one, they're like, you know, okay, King of Wakanda's Black Panther. Like,
yeah, you know enough about if you're watching this movie, you've seen enough Marvel movies to get this.
And I guess the whole thing is that Prince T'Challa was the active Black Panther for King T'Chaka because he was too old.
Mm-hmm.
So he's already experienced, which is nice because it's like the next Black Panther or the next King's already a very experienced Black Panther.
Yes, and I think that's a good system. Like, eventually the Black Panther realized, I can't do these roles anymore, so I'll give it to the next one. So, we've kind of wrapped up the movie. Let me bring 2 things I thought of while thinking of this movie. And this is the first feature I brought up way in the beginning.
Right.
So, the timeline of this movie is a little confusing, because at the end of Civil War, we know that Steve Rogers is in Wakanda.
Yes.
So, my question
Bucky Barnes?
No, it's not even Bucky Barnes. Like, Steve Rogers is there.
Right. I just didn't know if that's... Okay.
So, my question then is he there when this Civil War is happening, or is he come later?
I feel like he was there and then moved on because he couldn't stay in one place too long.
So he was in Wakanda during the not during the Civil War. I'm sorry, during the fighting in Wakanda.
No, I don't think he was there.
He's not there yet.
I think he was like, okay, here's Bucky. Please take care of him. Fix him. I'm out.
No, because I think in Infinity War he's in Wakanda.
Well, he's not in Wakanda. He might be around Wakanda. I don't think he might be in Africa. I don't think Captain America. I think if Captain America was in Wakanda, Black Panther would have been like, "All right, dude, you got to help me out."
Yeah, and that's why I'm wondering what that happened. Like, I don't know if maybe after this fighting in Wakanda he comes there.
I don't know.
But you have a scene of.
I still think because there's a line Shuri says of like, "Oh, great, another white boy for us to fix."
I know, it's just that's a little.
So I think what happened is, Steve Rogers showed up, was like, "Can you fix him? You're really advanced." And they're like, "Yes, we can do that for you." And then
he left, and then came back.
And then he left, and maybe he's around Africa.
I don't know. That's the one thing I'm kind of confused about.
I feel like he's kind of on a Hulk situation of like, I got to keep moving.
Yeah, I guess we'll find that out in Infinity War. That was the one thing that kind of bugged me a little bit. And my other thing, who are you taking a fight? Are you taking Wakanda or Asgard?
Neither. Neither, please. Check, please. No.
So both of them are gonna fight 1,000 Wakandians.
Wakandans versus Asgard.
Asgardians.
Oh, that's tough. I guess Asgard because they're not human. They're Asgardian and they're super.
A Wakandan spear can stop a tank. I feel like that's gonna stop the average Asgardian. Because remember, Thor is not the average Asgardian.
Guess what? A stabbing's gonna kill a Wakandan.
Yeah, but we've seen how effective the average I'm not talking like the Warriors 3 and Thor. I'm saying like regular.
I think it would be a relatively even fight.
I'm taking the Wakandans.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I think 9 times out of 10 they're gonna win against the average. If it's equal numbers.
No Black Panther, no Thor.
Yeah, I'm taking the Wakandans.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not decided. I think it would be a even fight.
What do we want to hashtag that?
I don't know.
Hashtag the Great African Norse War. I don't know. Leave it with the
hashtag if Vikings went to Africa.
Another thing I'm disappointed, there was no Toto in this movie.
Oh, that would have been easy. That would have been an easy laugh, I think.
Just, imagine at the end, like...
Imagine Suri listening to it.
Yeah, like it plays in the lab. Or even it plays in the lab and they're like, yeah, get that crap off. Like, and then they play Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Would have been great. But yeah, let us know who you think would win. Do you think an Asgardian or the Wakandans would win? All right, so let's put this pupper to bed.
Yeah.
So we've got the shield scale. This one might be a little different because some of ours are based on the rewatchability. We have our dinner in the room right now, and Connor just got up to look at it. He must be
so good.
It's meatballs and ravioli. If anyone's wondering,
it smells so good.
Like I said, it's really late here, guys. Let's get this to bed so Connor can eat. So we've got the scoundrel. How's the villain portrayed? Are we counting Killmonger and Claw as one, or are we just doing Killmonger?
No, I think we should focus on Killmonger.
Okay.
Claw has his light in another movie.
Okay. So we've got the scoundrel, we've got the hero, the Black Panther, the integrity. How's this movie hold up? Which I think we're going to kind of talk a little bit more like the effects, I think, in this one, as opposed to how it holds up while looking at everything else.
Right.
The entertainment, how entertainment we are. We obviously got the Lee cameo, how's Lee, and then the development. So let's start with the scoundrel, so Killmonger. I'll let you take this.
Oh my gosh. So as I say every episode, one of the key factors I love in a villain is, are they convinced what they're doing is right? And Killmonger hits that, like, beat for beat in this movie, because he's like, 100%, he's like, the world took everything from me, Wakanda could have helped, why weren't you? I'm going to change that. And it's totally like, and his monologue at the end pretty much says that even in death, he was like, I still think I was right. Like, it wasn't like he died and he's like, yeah, maybe I was wrong. There's literally no hesitation in him whatsoever throughout this movie. And I think that's a super good villain. He's not overly serious. Like, he's confident. Some would say cocky. Probably more leaning.
I think it's just Michael B. Jordan, though. Like, that's what he is.
But he was totally an awesome villain. I kind of...
Can you do it?
I think I'm going to give him a 5.
You got the perfect score on him?
Yeah, he hit it. He was funny, but he was still totally serious about stuff.
I'm locking your score in, and I'm going to say my reason. I think he is the highest villain we've had so far. Scoundrel, if you will.
Scoundrel.
The highest scoundrel we've had. I think he's very well developed. I think he's got good reasoning. The one thing I'm going to dock him, I'm going to give him a 4.5.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going to do that is I think for someone who talks about, like, all this brutality he's experienced, I think he's too brutal. Like, I understand the fact that you've got to be, like, threatening and dominant, but I think he's too brutal in what he does. And I think that development did pay off. So I'm going to give him 4.5. That's just a little knock. But yeah, I think he's by far the best developed villain we've had in the MCU so far, in our rewatch. Yeah. Or first watch.
Yeah. Actually.
All right, the hero, Black Panther himself. So I think you kind of have this... I like the idea it's kind of the reverse Thor. I don't think I'm ready to be king. Get that king to be that king, and the dad reassuring, like, no, you are. I like the fact that he kind of comes out at the end and says, like, listen, I'm not... the Wakanda of the old ways isn't going to work anymore. We need to go to the future, and kind of opens up against you. You have that personal growth there. I like the way he's using his powers in this. I guess the one thing I would have liked to see, I didn't see any real growth from the time he loses to Killmonger to the final fight, besides the fact he gets his suit back. So I didn't really see any change there until after the fight. But that being said, I think he's a very well-developed hero. I think he does a lot of things well here. I'm going to go with a 4.25 on that.
That's pretty fair. I like him a lot because he is like a genuinely really good person. And that is kind of opposite to Killmonger. And you do get the, I like his arc throughout the movie of, how can I fill your shoes as a king? To, like, you weren't a perfect person. Like, you made mistakes. And you made big ones. To, like, I'm not gonna be you. Because, it was kind of like, no one's perfect to, like, I'm not gonna be you because I can't be you. Sort of deal. So I kind of want to give it a 4.5. I liked his character arc throughout the movie a lot.
You know what? I'm going to vote for 4.5. That's a good point. I didn't think about it that way, but that is a very well explained point.
Thank you. Integrity.
So this is, again, we can't really talk about how it held up because we literally saw an hour and a half ago at this point. So let's talk about the effect. I think most of the effects are well done. I think they were asking a lot, especially when you talk about director Ryan Coogler, who's done two kind of I don't want to say low budget, but low CGI films. Yeah. I think this was a very ambitious project, and I know it's Marvel and they can do that. I just think it's very ambitious, and some of the things come out really well. But I know like the Rhino didn't really look very well.
Yeah, the Rhino wasn't great.
There were some things in there, so I think I'm just gonna.
The end fight scene wasn't great.
The what?
The end fight scene didn't look great.
It didn't look great. I mean, even like the scene where he pulls him to the elevator when he's coming off, you can tell that's CGI. Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna give it like a 3.25. I think it's above average. I think it's well done. I'm sure Black Panther 2. I don't know if they expected the success they've gotten from this. I saw that it's already in week 3 the third highest grossing movie in or not third highest grossing. It's in the top 100 highest grossing movies in world history. It's like 97 now, and it hasn't opened in China yet.
Right.
So I think this is going to do very well. And I think when Black Panther 2 eventually comes out, they'll get this fixed. But I think right now, I'm going to give it a 3.25.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm going to bump you up one. I think I'll go 3.5. Just because, like, I like the sand table is super cool. Mm-hmm. Like, all that stuff. I think what they did extremely well.
I think the small effects, they did very well. Yes. It was when I think they got too ambitious with some of the larger shots.
Yeah.
Entertainment. I love the movie.
It was really good.
We've talked about movies where you're like, okay, when's this movie going to end? Did not feel that at all. When I got to the end, I was like, okay, I felt great. This is really well done.
Yeah.
I enjoyed a lot of it. I love the dialogue they had there. I love the mythology. I guess if you want to knock it, it's not the funniest movie, but that's not even a knock. But it's not
by not being the funniest movie, it still has its comedic moments.
It does. You're 100% right, and I'm not saying that as a knock. I'm just trying to find something negative because the way I think like
nothing's perfect.
I don't think it's even perfect. Like I don't think this is a 5 to me. So like I was more entertained watching the Avengers.
Okay.
Which we gave a 5 to an entertainment.
Right.
And I'm not saying, like, I think this is like a 4.25, 4.5, maybe 4.75.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for me to do this because, again, I just saw this movie.
Right.
If I come back to this 3 weeks, it's like, well, when I think about it, actually, but we're trying to do this live. So I think I'm just going to play it safe. Maybe I will retroactively change the score.
Okay.
Maybe I will go on an episode in a couple weeks and say I'm going to change the score. But I'm going to go 4.5.
Yeah, I'll share with you there.
I know this isn't a good for ranking. I can't give a good reason why,
right.
But I just like looking at the list. Like
you didn't feel as entertained to deserve a 5.
Yes,
I think that's fair to say. Excuse me. I think that's fair to say, especially considering we just watched the movie for the first time. And I have to agree. Like it was a, don't get me wrong, great movie.
I mean, 4.5 is a very good score.
Great movie, but it definitely was not like all right, I'm blown away by this sort of deal.
Let's talk about the lead cameo. We said he's the...
That's a lie. I am pretty blown away by it. But I wasn't, like, enraptured, I think is a proper term.
Ooh, using those big words here. You think our listeners will understand us.
Yep. That's right. Listeners, I was talking about raptors.
Velociraptors. Star-Lord is actually a trainer.
Deals with velociraptors.
And he fights Kingpin with them. Anyway, the Lee cameo, very funny. I think it's a solid 4.
Yeah.
I think the one thing I would say is it didn't really tie into the plot, which I know I sometimes backtrack on one because I always think of that Thor one, but that's one I generally enjoy a lot. I think it was really funny. It's a good way of bringing him in. I couldn't think of a better way to tie him into this movie, which I think is kind of good. It's a good thing, like, because we always like kind of make a segment like, what's a better way of using Lee here? I don't think there was a better way. That was a good choice.
I think that was the one area you could have really included him. I'll give it a 4.25 just because it was very my brand of humor with like the long drawn out like pause, like I'm just gonna take this, move it over here,
and it's mine,
and keep it safe. And it was very much like probably how I would have delivered a line like that. It's just like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was a pretty strong Lee cameo.
Yeah.
He's still got some magic left there.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the development of the MCU. So this is probably where it's probably going to be the lowest score for me.
Yeah, nothing universe-wise got developed, really.
So let's talk about what
Wakanda went public.
Let's talk about what did get developed. Wakanda is public now.
Yeah.
We officially have a Black Panther. He is on the throne now as king as well. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of hinted at in Civil War, but now
he was
it's official.
The acting Black Panther or active Black Panther, but
he's
now officially the Black Panther.
And this is why I wanted to clarify earlier what we're counting as scoundrel. I think they wasted Claw here. I think Claw should not have died in this movie.
Yeah, he could have come back later down the line.
I think what would have been great is if you even have him bring Killmonger into Wakanda or something like that, and then you get something along those lines. I just feel like he was too good a character to kill the way they killed him.
Yeah.
And maybe they're just trying to get this reality, like, you know, we got to start killing people off to like show some authority here. But I just really like him, and I think that took away from the universe. I'm trying to think what I mean. We realize how much vibranium's in the MCU.
Yeah,
we realize the Wakandans and their society.
But all around, that's kind of like it develops the universe, but it is kind of like background stuff. Like, okay, so we now know we have essentially vibranium's an unlimited resource for the time being. Like, unless you go some super post-apocalyptic stuff, but
yeah, they're not. The MCU's basically said like, you need vibranium, we got vibranium.
Yeah.
And we also kind of get the effects of vibranium, I guess, like how it's not just like shield super strong
it's
metal.
Not just super strong metal. It's very.
It
functional.
can affect organic life forms in a crazy way.
So I guess it was all right.
I think I'm gonna go 2.75. I think it was like above average of 3.
Yeah.
But the loss of Claw, I'm gonna say probably a 2.75.
I'll go with that there. I think you bring up a very good point with saying like Claw did add a lot. He was a very interesting villain. So
we're back from the lab. We're gonna try and wrap this up because again we said it's super late here. Black Panther is now number 2 on our MCU rank. It ranks just below Avengers. I must say it was very close to overtaking Avengers. And then there's a big gap between that and Iron Man. So Black Panther number 2, another great showing in the MCU. And again, as they get the system down, it gets really. They really started to nail it.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to have him in the MCU. He's going to be in Infinity War. We're going to see that. We have that scene in Wakanda. I'm now really excited to see the Wakandan army fight, I guess, Thanos' army.
And I hope they bring back, like, Shuri and the General and stuff like that.
I'm sure they will be there. So, all right. We delayed it 1 week. Yeah. We're not delaying it another week.
No.
Captain America 2, get Bucky back.
Yeah. Bringing Bucky back.
Bringing Bucky back. We're going to be doing
the buck.
Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier next week. I want to thank the Couch Gnomes for their wonderful YouTube time they give us every single week for us to ramble on and get names off. By the way, I do want to apologize again. This is our first time seeing the movie. It was less than an hour, so if we missed any names or did that, just know that we do apologize. We're trying our best without any notes, because we usually do have pretty detailed notes, and we didn't because I didn't want to be the loser taking notes in my first watch of a movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we apologize for any names you got wrong, but I want to thank the Couch Gnomes again for giving us this sweet YouTube time every single week, every Friday, or maybe Thursday night.
No, it gets public on Friday.
Okay, so for every Friday, giving us this time.
Yeah, we, I love doing the podcast. I'm glad we have a podcast on. We are constantly doing new stuff, so keep an eye on the YouTube channel. We stream every Friday on Twitch. Danny streams Mondays, and then there's some random ones thrown in there, I think. We are also on all social media like Facebook and YouTube, and well, obviously YouTube, Snapchat. Instagram.
We only care about Facebook and YouTube
Pretty
because
much.
those are the ones Connor runs. The
Yeah.
other ones are the other ones. So, but if you do want to reach out to the show, please leave a comment on this video, message us on the Facebook, get a hold of us, tell us what you think about Black Panther. I mean, this is the big news right now, the new hotness.
Yeah, it's constantly grossing more and more money.
Yeah, it's crazy how much money this movie is making.
Also, check out our spreadshirt. I'm not going to pretend to know the link. It'll be in the description. We actually put up a really awesome shirt. I'm going to order one.
Does it say your dad?
No, it's in talks. I'm going to order one, which sounds bad, but it's the first shirt of ours I'm going to order. It is, I believe it's called the Namfoodle design. It's a really cool gnome Kanai came up with. And you can order it. Here's the thing. All of our other shirts have had our gnome hats filled in. Namfoodle, it depends on what color shirt.
What?
So you can wrap either your favorite gnomes or where you... Wow, that audio spike. Or get your own color. There's like grays and whites and stuff. I think there's a green. I could be wrong. But yeah. So you can get that. Really awesome design. Props to the Kanai. Looks amazing. I'm going to probably order mine at some point this week.
Yeah, so again, thank you for joining us today. Next week, Captain America 2.
Yep. I'm going to eat dinner now. Bye!
Later. Oh, can I have you take care of this? I don't know how to do that.
But food.
I'm eating food now.
But Seymour.
See more butts.